Welcome to Little Koi Out of the Frying Pan, Thriving After Trauma. This blog post is titled My Brother and Me, Part 1. Trigger warning. There is a trigger warning for physical abuse. My siblings' names have been changed for legal reasons, except for my younger brother Evan. I have been granted permission from Evan to use his real identity and share his story. My stomach was nauseous and my hands felt tingly from the anxiety welling up in my body. In our Tucson home's foyer, my mother had lined my siblings and me up and demanded who had left the back door unlocked. She had been out for the day, and we were responsible for letting the dog in and out. But someone forgot to lock the door back up. And now we all had our heads on the chopping block for a brutal spanking. The only question remained was which one of us was going to confess. I was 4 when my younger brother Evan joined our family in adoption. He was 2 years old and came along with his biological sister, who was 3 years old. I remember distinctly the day we picked them up. I was so excited to finally have a sister, but little did I know that Evan would be the one I was born with. When Evan got in our white minivan that day, our eyes met and our souls were instantly bonded. From that second, we were inseparable. He was always my buddy, friend, and confidant and protector. We would spend our allowances on each other, and when he was little, Evan could not pronounce Ellie, so he said Eddie, and the nickname stuck. He would have tea parties with me and dress up when my sister did not want to. As teenagers, Evan and I had our ups and downs, like usual siblings. Evan was a huge tease. He knew how to get under my skin in a millisecond. I had a hot temper and would scream at him. But at the end of the day, we never went to bed upset with each other, and the next day was always a new day. We were always the first one to defend each other, and I lost count of how many times we threw ourselves between the other and danger. We always had each other's back. Just like that dreadful day standing in that foyer. Someone better fess up, my mother demanded. One of you was careless and left the back door unlocked. And then she added, except for you, Justin. I know it wasn't you. You're free to go. She directed a grace to our older brother. Justin slinks out of the room. My younger siblings and I glanced nervously at each other. We knew Justin was our parents' golden child. We also knew he was the one who left the door unlocked. But we knew that Justin could do no wrong in our parents' eyes. He knew he could easily use us as his scapegoats with no shame, regardless of the consequences. Our parents would not even hear of Justin doing anything wrong. So, I was left standing with my 2 younger siblings, Evan and Christy. We were anxiously shuffling as none of us wanted to be the one to throw Justin under the bus. But none of us wanted to face the physical pain of our parents' wrath. My mother left the room for a moment, and returned with her massive baking spatula. Now, she used the spatula to bake for a crowd. It was large enough that it would scrape the size of a mixing bowl in one go. Unfortunately, she also used that on our butt. And sorry for anyone who ate at our house growing up. She never washed this spatula with soap, even if she even bothered to wash it at all, after using it on our bare bottoms. She would use this on our butts until we screamed for mercy, most often turning skin black and blue, and more than once breaking skin and shedding blood. Our hearts sank when we saw the implement in her hand. We should have been used to these beatings by now, but they never got easier. Our souls filled with dread as my mother asked again, "Someone better confess, or you're all going to be beaten." I was about ready to step forward when I heard my younger brother's voice say, "Me. It was me. I left the door unlocked." We knew it wasn't him. He knew it wasn't him. But he who was, my younger brother, sacrificing himself to take the punishment for a crime of which he was completely innocent. My mother led him to the back room, where we could hear the smacks of the spatula against his skin, our brother's cries, and our mother screaming at him for being so careless. Per usual, I ran to my closet with my hands over my ears while shaking and crying, asking myself, why did our mother have to be so violent over something so trivial? Several minutes later, I came out to meet Evan. His glasses were still foggy from crying, but he mustered a smile, and he said, "Don't worry, it didn't hurt that bad." But the way he couldn't sit down for the rest of the day told a different story. While my younger siblings and I were physically abused, we knew that Evan was the most physically abused. Our parents believed they could pray and physically beat the ADHD and impulsiveness from Evan. I remember one time at family Bible time, our father became so upset with Evan for playing with a candle that our father took Evan's finger and held it in a flame until the tip of Evan's finger turned black. Our parents' response to Evan's hyperactivity was to take the spatula or a leather belt to his body. It was nearly a daily beating for Evan growing up. I always wished we had been adopted by a different family. When I was 17, I was kicked out of my home. You can read that story at some of my previous blogs. Evan was 15 years old, and I was scared to leave him behind. Looking back, I wish I could have saved or protected him. But I was 17, and I couldn't take my little brother with me, and I didn't think anyone would believe what was happening in my home. Our parents were so distinguished in the church, and we truly appeared to be the perfect family. So not long after I left home, Evan enrolled in the culinary program at Pima Community College in Tucson, where he trained to be a chef. He would send me pictures of the food he made. And he was, and still is, a very gifted chef. And he had a promising future in gourmet resort kitchens. Unfortunately, as Evan's career took off, he became involved with the wrong people, and his life turned for the worst. And this blog, I'm so sorry, is to be continued. If you have a chance to go to my blog online, there are pictures of my brother and I. There's several of some happier moments in our life. But yeah. Thank you so much for reading, and I will hopefully have part 2 out this week because I do not believe in making people wait. So, love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.